Thought we'd do a cheeky little stream on day one of update 72 because there's some new hostiles. So let me get into my stream manager and we'll get going. Okay, so new patch today, and I'm not going to go everything in the patch. I'm going to focus on the hostiles because this is where I'm doing my testing at the moment, trying to get what is the best crews to defeat them to be able to get your refines in each day. I've not done any refined yet because I'm sure there'll be some sort of SLB or SMS. In fact, the events might have just dropped. No events yet. Maybe I'll need to restart. I'm just looking at this here, this news. That normally means events are going to drop soon. So there's a few things like new buildings, new chaos techs, new officers, new hostiles, catch-up mechanics around old ships, and kind of closure of loops by maxing out ships. So it's quite a lot actually. Got some good use of life, ease of life things in there. But what I want to focus on is these new hostiles in continuum space, but I'm going to call it zigzag space because if you look here, look, the new continuum space is just off to the left, the west side of regular fed space, and the kind of zigzag up and down here all the way up to level 70. Obviously there is warp range limitations, so on my, what tier is it now? It's tier 8 Sompec. Furthest I can get is 58. If I try and get to 60s, it's 700. But if you got your G5 Epic, you should be able to hit 60s, maybe even 62s, depending on how well it's tiered. And what we're trying to achieve is our refines. So there's the new Continuum refinery here. You see I'm 58, 59, 60 that probably goes up. And you can see I need 160k to get a double refining. That obviously scales with op, so I'd be interested to see what that goes up to when you get to op 60. But in essence, what I'm trying to do is find a way that I can stock up loads of this stuff, so I don't need to do it very often with many runs. So the thing to know about them is, if we go into the space, each of the different types of hostiles have got different special abilities. So the interceptors, they have an increased crit chance by 10% for every 2 rounds. So this cumulatively builds crit chance. So the more round it goes, it just ends up being 100% crit chance. And obviously they've got a crit floor of 150%. And then that's just saying it does hull breach. So the interceptors are kind of working their way up to 100% crits. The battleships are working off burning and increasing damage by 15% for 2 rounds every time it hits. So that's just continually adding more and more base damage. And obviously, unlike the interceptors, it can't max out. It'll just keep going on forever, cumulatively, the more rounds that you do. So the longer it takes to kill it, the more that's going to hurt you. And then, brutally, the explorers have cumulative isolated damage, 15%, every time it hits a weapon. So this is just like stacking ISO damage every time it hits you from morale. So the explorers are not the ones you need to be hitting. So I've already tried quite a whole host of different crews, and I'll tell you the process I went through. I first went into 58s, and I went into 58s with my regular crew, grind crew, which is Janeway, Doc, and E-Data, which is a good mix between getting yourself shield mitigation, getting yourself increased defences, and hitting hordes with ISO damage to kill it a bit quicker. So I always found this is the best grind crew. So first of all, if we go back through my logs, so let's go back to when I first started it. Here we go. No, that's yeah, this one is first. So you can see here on the 58, usual grind crew killed it, but took dramatic amounts of damage, and was getting 1700-ish loot, and then a chest, which I can't remember what the chest. I think it's about 10,000 in the 58 chests. So the first thing I noticed from this was that you get a lot more in a chest than you do in a kill into your cargo. So it instantly made me feel per hull you want to be killing as many as you can and not worry too much about the loot coming in, which makes me feel the loot crew may not be the best thing on this. You want to be hitting as high as you can to consistently kill lots of them and get lots of chests. And that's the way you're going to maximise your runs. So that was the first thing. So I thought, okay, fair enough. Hit one. Then I tried an Explorer, bang, killed me outright, got nowhere near. So instantly I thought, on the 58, I can kill one Interceptor, but the Explorer, they're going to kill me. So then I went back and said, okay, then let's try another crew, which was Pipe, Moreau, E-Data. So the view here would be to try and kill it quickly. And actually it worked okay, but probably better than my regular grind crew because the number of rounds went down to 8 from, let me look at the first victory I did, 9. So I shaved one extra round and saved some. And I stuck with hitting that same crew, killed another, and then I tried a battleship, which killed me, but I couldn't learn much from that. So then I went back and said, okay, let's try a different crew. And I tried Pike, Moreau, Phlox because I thought, oh, well, it does critical chance, so can I reduce its damage? And you could see that didn't work very well at all. Went lots of rounds. And it just did me a lot more damage because it went lots of rounds. So I kind of knocked off that crew with an idea. Then I tried Spike with E-Data, nowhere near as good. I thought maybe the extra mitigation and the extra shield mitigation from Pike would help, but it didn't. I still went 10 rounds and took far too much damage, so 58s on them was a no-go for me. I tried full on SNW James Kirk crew, so full synergy on that to try and bypass and go straight to the, well, as close as much to the hull as possible. But still took 11 rounds and I had no mitigation, so it just did a load of damage. So that was a no-go for me. Then tried Mbenga because of increased mitigation stats. So I tried to get synergy on him, but then also put on S&W Spoke for more mitigation. So then I stacked defense and I stacked health, but all that extra mitigation is pointless because it's the penetration of that 58 was just so much greater for me that it made little to no difference, and it still took a load of damage. So I could kill one, but I barely getting any loot whatsoever. So that was my journey through the 58s. And my view is, with a G5 rare, it's not effective to be hitting the 58s, so should drop down to the 56s. So on the 56s, I started off with Pike, Moreau, E-Data again, and it started to work better. You could see I weren't losing as much, and I killed a lot more each round. You could see it tweaking down a little bit, up to the point where, I ended up just dying because I ran out. And I managed to kill, well, how many did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. And I noticed that I got 7,000 in each of these chests, which got me 35,000 in these and I don't know, 10,000. So I got about 45,000 from that one run. So I got about 45,000 from a single run on that. So then I thought, okay, 45,000, let's go back to the refinery. 45,000 gets me, what, let's call it 50,000, almost a third of the way. So I'd have to do 3 runs with PME data. Okay, still not brilliant. So then I thought, well, actually, let's put my regular grind crew back on. And then I went and did that here. And you can see I take barely any damage against the interceptors. So I did a run of them all the way up to here. You can see I'm taking really little amounts of damage on the 56s. And each time I kill one, getting 7,000. 1,340 in cargo and 7,000 in a chest. So about, let's call it 8,500 per kill. Therefore, okay, I'm running out of interceptors, so I'm going to try an explorer. That didn't go well at all. So the stacking ISO damage absolutely nails me on explorers, and then I try, well, I'll just die now, so I'll try it out on a battleship. And I've not fully tested that because you can see I almost killed it, but you can see I lost all that amount of health, which is a lot more than I was losing on the interceptors. So my view is, right now, when I'm out here, is to say, for me, I'm parked in this zone, the 56ers, and I'm going around killing the interceptors. So you'll see here, I'll kill this one. I'll get an extra item. Maybe not every time then. Let's have a look. Do we get one every time? 19. Let's see if it goes up. Yeah, 20. So let me try again. Let's see if it's 100% rate on the every time you get a chest. Does that go up to 21? Up here? Yes. So every time I kill one, I'm getting a chest. And you can see my health is dropping barely at all. So what I'm currently in the testing of doing now is just running it out on interceptors only. And what's happening is, because I don't think everyone will work this out yet, people coming in and attacking explorers and battleships, and you've got like really high levels like Elmi coming in with their 2 billion ents and hitting, you know, other types, which helps respawn the interceptors. But once I've run out all these interceptors, I've just got to go away and do something else and sit there until somebody clears some of the other ships to be able to allow me to start killing interceptors again. Now I could, I mean, the other alternative, I could drop the 54s, kill the 54s in there, and maybe on the is it 54s? Let's have a look. Yeah, 54s. So maybe on the 54s, it's less of an impact on the whether I'm attacking explorers or battleships. But obviously, if I drop down and each chest is maybe getting half or a lot less, and I've got to kill a lot. Oh, stop. Yeah, don't want to kill that. You see, that's where you got to be careful. You got to be careful, you see, because I'm just so used to just attacking anything around me that I can do that and then die. So what are we up to in hull now? So I'm up to 20k here, and I've got 26 chests. So hang on, can't clear. Call it 27. So this is going to get me, I'm already up to, that should be 189,000 worth of loot, along with 20, so like I'm nearly at 200k now. So I'm almost at 200,000 and I'm still on the same hull. But you can see there's no interceptors now. But then if I go to my refinery, go to Continuum, look at this, it's 160k. So in a single run, I've managed to get my double refine done. So a few grinds out here, you know, maybe by the time I've done this, I maybe get 1 or 2 max refines per hull. Maybe call it 2 max refines per hull. I'm about half full there. So if I do 5 runs, I'm going to have enough max refines for 10 days, and I don't need to worry about it. Now, obviously, I'm fully expecting an SLB for loot or killing these hostiles. In that case, I'll probably end up with about, 50 to 60 days worth of max refines. So, well, let's drop to the 54s and we'll do a quick test on them. So hopefully this helps people. Now, what I have done is I have asked on Talking Trek is it just the interceptors for me because I'm using an Explorer? And I don't think it is. The most critical thing for you to have is increase the critical chance by 10 is critical damage reduction. So if you've got critical damage reduction research, which I've got quite a lot of, so this you'd have to test to see if this works as well for you. I have more on PvP than PvE, but it tends to come as a gate towards getting the PvP critical damage reduction. You've got to get the hostile stuff as well. Then it just acts like a normal hostile, except its crit hits are maxing out at 150% extra damage. But then it stops at that. So unlike the other one, like the cumulative ISO damage or the cumulative damage, that'll just keep going on and on and on through each of the different rounds. Whereas this, you can see I've killing it in 6 rounds, and it's kind of just getting itself to 100% crit chance and then just critting all the time. So it's not critting much there. You see crits are coming. See the crits are coming in more often. And now crit, 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 crit. So now it's at like, well, not 100% there, is it? But pretty much nearly 100%. And now it will be at mostly 100%. So you can see it's doing, as you go through the round, it's getting to almost 100% crits. It never quite gets to 100%, does it? But you can see that most of them are crits. So obviously, if you're not mitigating that critical damage, you see, like for this, take this example here, a standard hit's 15 million, and a crit hit is 26.7 million. So let me have a look at my calculator on that. So 26,714,663 divided by 15,652,868. So it's doing about 70% more damage from the crit on that gun. Which is a lot, but it's not as bad as it could be. And it's not like cumulatively adding. So we go to one of the ones like when I died on the Explorer, or I killed the Explorer, but did a lot of damage. If we look here, we go through the rounds, straight down through the rounds. You see how it's like the isolytic damage each round. Wrong gun. It's getting 25 million now. Keep going down. Depends on what gun's firing, doesn't it? You got to have like a light for like gun on that. You see, so it's doing about in here like a standard hit 24 and 21, which is probably more than the criticals doing me on the other ones. I think them Explorers just look stronger, full stop. Let's have a look, see if we can get a critical. Is he a critical hit? See, he's not doing many crits. Oh, see if it crits. Actually, it zeroes it out on the Explorer because it because it doesn't have it doesn't have that crit flaw that the interceptors have. So the crits do nothing, but it doesn't do many crits. Like probably 1 in 10, probably you'd guess, if it's probably 10% chance. So then its regular hits by the time I get to this round is 20 million standard and 21 million ISO, and well, 24, 20. If we go back and have a look at the interceptor, just go to round 6. Yes, it's doing 0 isolytic damage, 13 million on a standard, 23 million on a standard crit. See, it's going 0, so it's only doing 13 million or 23 million on a crit, where the other one's doing 20 and 20. So it's doing significantly more damage. S&W Pellier below decks. No, that's a good point. Let's have a look. I could try that. A-Red. Let's have a look at what I've got below decks. Oh, I'll show you another bug which is horrible as well. Look at this. Ooh. Is it flickering? Yeah, look at it. I mean, I don't know whether you can see it as well on the stream, but this is just flickering like mad on the right hand side. It's like RSI inducing. Let me have a look at what I've got below decks. I think it's got my usuals. Critic damage. Get my hull breach in. U to get my crit chance. And Chapel to get extra isolytic damage. So if I were going to put Peely in, I would maybe stick in there instead of Chapel and lose a bit. So it would be whether, I'll have a look what Peely does in a minute. It would be whether she overcomes this. But like in Peely crit, are you thinking against? You're thinking against explorers here, aren't you? Go down. Should up that eye level, so it should be somewhere around here. We do a group. Peely, yeah, she is. I'm not even leveled her up. Just level her up. I do use her in PvP as well, so I should have done that. Isolated. Okay, so it's isolated event by 10%. I don't know, mate. I'm not too sure whether that's going to be enough to overcome the impact on explorers. Attacking explorers. It will help, but I don't think it's ever going to overcome that massive difference between interceptors and explorers. Because like I said here, I'm doing so taking 13 million standard, 0 isolytic, 22 million standard, 0 isolytic, and then equivalent round against an explorer. Let's set one where I died. Equivalent round against an explorer, that Corin class, isn't it? Let's get to similar round 6. 17 and 13, look. 16 and 12, 16 and 15. So it's doing 30 odd. Whereas I'm only taking about 10, 12. So it's more than double the damage I'm taking. So even if I somehow reduce that a bit, the fact that it's doing both isolytic and standard. Yeah, maybe 45% would make a difference. I'm interested in you. Yeah. What I say is you have to look at each ship class. Yeah, they've got different abilities. I started off with that. I don't know whether you missed that, mate. But like the explorers cumulatively add 15% crit down isolytic damage every time it hits. So this is what I'm saying. It's like hitting loads. It's got probably quite a lot of guns. Let's have to figure out how many guns it's got. So that's probably a gun 1. That's probably a gun 2. So it's got a firing pattern of 2. I just died there. Let me see if I can look at another one where it didn't kill me. What was that? See if I can get an explorer that didn't kill me. I definitely had a victory against one. Here, victory. Explorer. So let's have a look at the log on this. So it's got 2 guns there. No, more than that, isn't it? Explorer. So round 1, that's a gun. That's a gun. That's a gun. Maybe that's a gun. Oh, maybe it's doing 6 shots. So it's either got 3 or 4 guns in round 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's got 4 guns. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's got 4 guns. And every time that gun hits you, so it's getting 15% extra isolated damage. Only for 2 rounds though. So it's going 8 times 15% will be the max it adds. 8 times 15. So it's going to get 120% ISO damage. And I'm not too sure your 40 odd percent just knocks that straight off. I don't think it works like that. I don't think that 40% of Pillier will just knock that down to 80%. Maybe it does, I'm not 100% sure. But either way, it's still going to be, once it's got up to its max, it's going to be around about 80% extra ISO damage, which is going to like double the damage output it does. Whereas the interceptors, once it gets to 100% crit chance, it's just going to stay. Well, and it can't get to 100% crit chance, can it? Because it's doing only for 2 rounds. So it's got 4 guns, so it can get up to 80% crit chance. Because when you get into the next round, a 10% will drop off. So it works its way up to 80% crit chance and stays at that. But if your critical damage reduction is good, it's just gonna stop. Mind you, I suppose the other one's stopping because it stops it after 2 rounds, doesn't it? So it's going to stop at 140% ISO damage, which makes sense as to why the damage doesn't just keep going up like that. Because as round 3 comes on, round 1 drops off, round 4, round 2 drops off, round 5, round 3 drops off. But the proof is in the pudding. As you can see here, for me, you can see it. If Trip would work against interceptors, let's have a look at Trip. I did try Trip, but I don't know if I tried him against an interceptor. Which one was it? Well, I tried him on a 58. I did try the Trip crew. No, that's not the Trip crew. Some of them were terrible. No. Which one was it? I think it was later on the 58s before I gave up. Did I try the Trip crew? I'm sure I did. See if I can find him. Oh, the Mbenga one. That was a full S&W Kirk. I don't think I did try Trip. I mean, for you, Red, in your Ent G5 Epic, I suspect you might be around 60s, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see how you go on 60 interceptors versus 60. Well, you should be hitting battleships, shouldn't you, if you were against Triangle? I wondered whether you do more or less damage, take more or less damage against battleships, or oh no, you don't want battleships, you want interceptors. So yeah, no, sorry, you're an explorer with Ent, so you just want to be hitting interceptors as well. I don't think I did try Trip. Let's do that now anyway, because I think we've done enough testing on that. In fact, let me clear up any more interceptors. Any more interceptors in here? No. I think the word's getting out around interceptors. Oh, this was 54. Let me go back to 56. Have a quick look to see if there's some more interceptors in here. But anyway, the point being, for me, hitting interceptors in that zone with my usual grind crew gets me 2 full days worth of refines. Red, what's the full refined for you at 60? Because it goes up if you're still listing. So here, if you could Continuum and have a look here, mine's 160k. I'm intrigued. 200k. So it's not that much more then, is it? That's not that much more. I still think it's been the best for you to hit 56s to stock up. Because you'd have to, I bet you take a hell of a lot more damage on the 58s. Right, let's kill a few. I was going to run this out of interceptors. And then I'll go back and I'll see what you're saying about trips, see if that makes any difference. But you can see I'm barely taking any damage on these. And I don't particularly see a need to go and try and hit the other types if this is working. This just works. Oh, that just despawned. Looks like these, I think they do anyway, don't they? Sometimes when they're flying to the little homes, sometimes they bounce off it and sometimes well, I thought about the assimilated research, mate, but they're not tagged as assimilated. It says assimilated there, but I'm sure they have little tags under here that says assimilated. So I don't think it does, but it does warrant more testing, good sir, I would say. Oh, it does need testing that to see whether that's similar. I mean, because I don't even bother with it because it's on hostiles that are totally not needed for anything. But it could maybe help you it up. But you can see here now I'm up to 32. See, look, you see Riggs here. He just hit a battleship, look, he's dead. I need to use same crew. I know this ship's not strong, but hopefully Riggs will watch into this and realise that, you know, because he's coming in an interceptor, he's thought, oh, I've got to hit a battleship. Which you would think, wouldn't you? But then it's just nailed him. But I bet if he came in with that same crew and hit an interceptor. I bet if he comes in and tries with an interceptor, it'll kill one. See what's ragged. So he's got Explorer. But I've just cleared out all the interceptors so there's none for him to hit. But I'm intrigued to see how he'd do. Right, I'll kill myself. So let me attack. It doesn't make any difference here. I'll just attack one of these and kill myself. Yeah, cheers, Red. I'll check the screenshot on Discord. I'll have a look at that in a bit. Blow myself up. Oh, can you just smart speed up? Try this. It's still got to click freeze though, which is nice. Should just complete it. So I got 34. Click that, and I should get 238,000. So I think I had about 40 odd thousand. So like I said, for me, I'm getting almost 2 days worth of refines from that crew on the interceptors. You sent some on Discord. Let me have a quick look then on the phone, so I don't have to swap across. You done it on? Yeah. So your interceptor, you're taking a little bit of damage. Your battleship, you're taking more damage. And the explorer, so you're still taking the least amount of damage from interceptors, aren't you? By the looks of it, but you're doing a lot better. So you'll probably be all right on them 58s. But your interceptors are still better, aren't they? I mean, that battleships took a good more chunk off. The explorer, the battleships took a good chunk. The explorers took a good chunk. But your interceptor is about half of that. So it looks to me like you are. Hang on, we go back. Come back into here. Oh, what's happened here? Yeah, I'll do. So it does look to me, Red, that in your enterprise at 1 billion, you're still going to get double the amount on interceptors. So, which makes sense because you've got triangle advantage, and we've shown that the ISO damage and the extra damage scaling doesn't have a bigger impact. I'm intrigued actually about the battleship. So look at the battleship. Trouble is I ain't got enough rounds of it, but cause it's just killing me. So you can zero out the crits on them. Oh, but look, the standard damage up 32. For the battleships, up to 32 million just in round 1. 33, 35, 40, 45, 42, 42, 47, 48, 50. That must be a weaker gun. Oh no, then it's just maxing out, isn't it? So then it's maxed out at that point. So yeah, on the battleships, the base damage is just increasing upwards. So first gun 32, 35 million, second gun 37, 36, next gun 47, 48, next gun 51, 52, and it just keeps doing that over and over again, which is dramatically more than, again, we'll go to the interceptor. 2114, either 13 million standard with no ISO damage, and then if it crits 25, so it never gets like 25, 26, 27 is the highest it ever goes with no ISO damage. So that just levels off around 14, 13, 26, 25, 27. And when they all get crits later on, or minority crits, it just levels off at 26, 27. And compare that to that battleship time we were up to this round 4/6. Let's get to these later guns. These guns here, these were doing 50 million. So they were doing double the damage. So it shows that both the explorers and the battleships are doing double the damage of the interceptors, which also aligns red with the screenshots you sent me, because you're taking probably double the hull damage on them compared to the interceptor. Right, you said you want to try trip. I mean, I don't really need to do this now because I've found a crew that works, but let me have a group, see what trip does. I also wonder about Naismith. Apex barrier by it's not going to do much, that is it? Maybe if you get him, that's level 10. I've got him 2,500, even at 5,000. I just don't think Naismith. Maybe Pipe Moreau Naismith. Is that going to give me 100 and extra whatever? I wonder if Pipe Moreau Naismith works. Just Apex barrier everything. I'll try that for a laugh. I'm intrigued, but let me try this trip one first. So let's have a look at your logic on trip. What have you said about it? When you take damage from a hostile another player, trip decreases your opponent's critical damage by 80%. For 2 rounds. So it can stack. So the view here against the interceptor is that we're trying to negate that critical damage. It is, but we're not going to zero the crits. I think it all depends how good your crit damage reduction is, Red. I think from the off, because if we look at the hostile, it's got a critical flaw damage at 150%. So I think earlier we did that test and we showed that the critical damage for me was around about 70% extra. So like I've almost got it down to the crit floor without having to use trip. So if I use trip, I'm going to give up maybe E-data. So which is probably going to take me more rounds. So I probably can't do it in 6 rounds. And I'm only going to get like a net 20% crit damage reduction. But we'll test it. So let's have. So what are you thinking? Are you thinking just swapping E-data out for trip? Let's just try that. See whether is critical damage reduction stacking helps more or less than the less round it'll take me to kill it using E-data. Let's try it. I don't even know if there'll be an interceptor, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Yeah. Okay. I'm checking the systems where they simulated hostile or it just says assimilated, nothing more. Yeah, but where does it say assimilated? Doesn't it normally have like a special tag associated to them, does it? Is it in its name? I thought there's like a little black thing underneath or somewhere that says like assimilated. Can you put the name of the assimilated zone and I'll fly out and have a look? I have no idea where the zones are. So I won't really know where to go. So while that's going, just a brief word on other stuff that's coming. We've got the new building. So I quite like the look to this building because I'm almost at a point where moving up ops levels now is more important to me than the ship because I've sweated that G5 rare as much as I possibly can. And I now need to start moving up into the new ops levels. And it gives you both Sigma and non-Sigma resource efficiencies. And it's just going to help me in terms of G5 rare stuff to get over the line. I'll talk about that Chaos Tech another day. Let's see if we get up to like level, I don't know, I'm going to zoom right up to say level 30. You know, it's a 50% material efficiency, which I really like the sound of. I think that's quite a lot. Check systems where the assimilators are. No, checking the systems after beta sector. I'm not too sure. Not too sure, Red, whether that assimilated research applies or not. The systems after beta sector. Can you just put the name of the sector you're looking at, Red, and I'll search for it. I'll just go in and send a ship and we'll have a look. So I quite like this. I might invest because it's going to help me. Hi there, Moose. Relatively new, mate. Been doing it for about a month or so, something like that. Got a few streams already. But I've got a YouTube as well. So all these past ones I've done covered quite a few things and like looked at ship crews and PvP arena, best crews to use, tactics for winning SLBs and stuff, things like Aviator and all stuff like that. So yeah, I've only got like 50 followers, not like the other streamers. Just for your perspective, I started it because my son wanted to get into streaming, so I wanted to learn it a little bit. So a few people in my alliance and others have said they found it useful, so I have been keeping it up. So at the moment, we're just testing best crews for the new hostiles. And my view so far for my ship, which is this G5 rare Sompek tier 8, using actually E-data there is what I have been using. I can get like in one hull worth hitting interceptors on the 56. You can get 2 full days worth of max refines. So by the time you've done the inevitable SMS or SLB, you're going to have like 10 to 20 days worth of max refines and job's done. Yeah, no, so that's about right, isn't it? Like, my son's quite into it quite a bit though. He is doing them, and he prefers doing his little shorts. So to be honest with you, he's quite good at them. Puts them on YouTube. He does like little football shorts, and they get quite a lot of views, a lot more than I get. He gets like thousands of views on these little football ones that appear on people's streams. So he does edits on them. But he's not quite confident enough to do long streams yet. So, but I was just intrigued into how it all worked. So let's say an interceptor, and we'll compare that crew, see if trip makes a difference, see if it's better or worse. I think that's taking more damage. Let's have a look. So let's have a look here. It's not doing too bad. So it's taking that much damage with trip, whereas I'm taking that much damage. Look, so it's less. So it's a lot less with E-data. Let me look at my first one, which will be this one. So you could, no, that's not the right one, is it? That's a, see, I did take more on there, so maybe that weren't a. Let me go back up. So you see, taking that much damage, and that's because I'm killing it in 6 rounds, whereas with trip, killing it in 8 rounds. So I'm taking 2 more rounds to kill it, but technically trip should be lowering the crit damage later on. So what when it wires up 23 million crit damage, 25 million crit damage, 25 million. So it's doing about 23, 25 million crit damage with trip. And then when I'm attacking it without him, it's doing, let's get up here again, 26, 27. 25, 27. So it's exactly as I thought it would be. Because my critical damage reduction research is already taking it relatively close to this threshold of 150%, then adding in an officer to get me 250% is not good value, and I'm better having a more offensive officer to kill it quicker, so I do less rounds. So at least for me right now, maybe. I mean, I can't see how it hitting up would make any difference to that, because you'd have to get to the point where like the extra 20% of crit damage I'm saving totally outweighs the value of killing it in like 2-3 less rounds. And obviously for every round I'm not doing, I'm saving 15, 30, 60, 85, like all these millions of extra damage I'm taking by just doing less rounds. So no, Red. I think it's a no-go. Let me check that zone you said to see whether this is simulated research. You said Mavac. Okay, let me have a look. System lookup. MA dash. There we go. Do I need to? Oh, god damn it. 3 minutes. Can I jump there quicker? Is that one though as well? I bet they're in there, aren't they? That I tell us. Let me quickly change my ship. Swap ship. We'll peek in and have a look. So peek in. Let's see if they're in here. These are simulated. See, it says assimilated there. You see the difference? That's here the assimilated battleship. Yes, it's called assimilated battleship, but then it's got that assimilated just there. In here. I mean, that's just. But you can see that it just says assimilated, and it says assimilated again. Oh no, it's a 51. I mean, that's just terrible. Ignore that. Look at that. It's just horrendous. I don't know whether you can see it on the wobbling on the screen. I don't think you can when you're streaming. But this wobbles horrendously. But yeah, so in here we can see it says assimilate there. So let me look here. Have a look at this. I click on it. It says Q Continuum. Look. So it's in here. It's saying assimilated Coron class Q Continuum. So I think that is telling you the type of ship it is. Yeah, I don't think most that research will help because it's the class of the the category of this type is Q Continuum and not assimilated. What tree is that assimilated research in? Is it combat? Where is it? So remember where it is. I know because I never do it. It's here. Look. Against assimilated brackets ASM faction ships. Don't know. Yeah. I don't know why it's got that brackets ASM. We'll quickly go back to that zone. God, I'm going to run out there, aren't I? What the loan? Mac. Yeah. What was the zone called? Movac. No. I'm going to have to use another one. It's fine. Dash back. Go. Peeking again. Got loads. So what's this ASM? So it doesn't say ASM there, but I wonder whether the ASM. Oh, so it doesn't say ASM there either. I don't know what that ASM even represents. It doesn't say ASM anywhere, does it? But it definitely says assimilated there, which I think is what it's referencing. It's just a short name. They were okay, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, I would say it only works against these and not against these because these are Q Continuum hostiles, or as I like to call it, zigzag hostiles because of this zigzag system. There was a specific type of ship. Yeah, yeah, probably was Moose. I don't. To be honest, because it's. I don't know whether that was just like a dead feature or what. But like, I think I was probably too low level when they first introduced it, and then when I got to it, it seemed to add no value. To yeah, it didn't seem to add anything whatsoever. So like, I felt no need to grind stuff to increase a research to kill hostiles that gave me nothing. So it just seemed pointless. Yeah, for ship ports was it red? Yeah, maybe that's what it was for. But now there's a million and one better ways, isn't there, to get ship ports? So I guess there's no need to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do is, and Moose, you won't know this, but I have like an infographics pack that I kind of. Oh yeah, let's have a look here. Look. So for your purposes, like one on my streams, I've kind of talked through speed crews, grind crews, loot crews, Q hostile crews. So like ways to do that Janeway special. So like I have slides on all this. If you're interested, there's like DJ on Talking Trek. Let me post into the what room's it in? Let's go to DJs here. It lets me post in here. Scopeless Squad, and it's like more people have posted in it, and here in that content creation. Yeah, so that infographics document is here as a PDF. if you wanted to share it across people in your alliances and stuff like that, people can download it from there. I have no need to set up my own personal Discord and move people away from DJs and Rev and stuff like that. So, but DJ did message me and said he was happy for me to promote my videos on his site and put them here. Hopefully it helps a little bit. So yeah, so then the infographics there. So if I go to back to it, so what I'll do is like Mirror Universe, Zindy Aquatics, Alliance Tournaments, Arena Tactics. I'll add another slide in here. How does a loot scale through the ops? Is it worth hitting down with Loot Crew? Well, okay, good question, Riggs. I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why. Because let me go on my things here. You can see here that in fact, let me kill one, and I'll show you. I've got to go back. But on the 56ers, I get 7,000 in a cargo. Yeah, so I get 7,000, not in the cargo, 7,000 here. So if I open that up, well, I've killed 156 and I get 7,000 chaos modules. And for that, I get about 1,400 in my cargo. So even with a loot crew, I'm going to get, I don't know, at best, say double it, 3,000. Call it 3,500 or 4,000. But with a loot crew, you get absolutely nailed by them hostiles. So I'll show you. I'll do one for you. Let me go to my loot crew. Here. Go to my loot crew. So go back. I'll head over there. I will also have a look to see what one kill gets you on a chest in a 54. But the loot crew, you'll see I take significantly more damage on these 56. Like a lot more. So like I would die quite quickly. Now I suppose if the thing is you got to factor in this 2-minute ride back. So just by sitting in that zone and killing 30, 40 hostiles with a loot crew and getting that times 70 is going to be much more efficient than killing 5 or 6, getting 1,500 more loot and then going back. Yeah, most of the loot's in the chest rigs, exactly, yeah. Now, obviously, now in the mirror space, you can just take the protector out and mine, can't you? Particularly once you've got the warp range to get to the Trell D ones. So for mirror now, I have like Trell A mining prot and Trell D mining prot. So, I just send go here to mine Trell A, and then go here to mine Trell D. But my protector's a bit rubbish at the moment. I'm getting the warp range up to it, to do the Trell Ds, but that stops you from having to do the grind on the ships. But the same principle, weren't it, in mirror space? You were better using a speed crew to kill as many as you can, to get as many chests as you can, and that was better than using a loot crew killing slowly. So it was slightly different in mirror space because they were really easy hostiles to kill, so you were more bothered about the kills per second you could get as opposed to the just dying really quickly like these ones are doing against you. 54s with loot. Yeah, I will do, mate. I don't think I'll die on a 56 with loot, so let me kill a 56 with loot and we'll get the stats on that. If there's kill an interceptor because they're the easiest. So again, we know it's 7,000 regardless in the chest. And before I was getting like 1,300. But now if I put my loot crew on, make sure I kill it, yeah. You can see I've took dramatically more damage, at least 4 or 5 times more. And I'm taking home 3,821. So I'm getting, as you would expect, 150 odds or whatever percent extra. But I'm going to be able to kill what? 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 or 7 hostiles as opposed to 30, 40. So let's go down now to 54s. The chest on the Yeah, the chest on the 56s, mate, give you 7,000. So you really want to just hang about in the zone as long as possible, killing as many as you can before you die, which is why you want to hit the interceptors. So let's have a look at what one in the 54s will kill you. Now, last time I came in here, there were no interceptors, so someone must have. Yeah, so there's an interceptor there. So I'm probably going to take a lot less damage on this, but it'll be interesting to see how much loot I get. So let's have a look at my. So I'm barely taking any damage, am I? So I'll probably grind them forever. Let's have a look how much damage I take. So damage is not an issue on 54s. And you get per chest 5,000. So you're getting 5,000 and you're getting. So you're getting about. What was that before? It was about 3,000 odd, weren't it? So you're getting about 3,000 in loot and fight. So you get about 8,000 per kill. And you could probably grind them forever, or you were getting 7 plus. Nah. So you could technically grind with a. Yeah, you're probably getting about 1,000 less rigs. You're probably getting about 1,000 less per kill in this zone with a loot crew than you would be in the other zone. But you can do it forever. Very similar, mate, yeah. But obviously, if I got loot crew on here, I can't go up to 56s because you'll die too quick. So I guess what you could do is put your grind crew on, go to 56s, you do all the interceptors, drop down to the 54, do all the interceptors, and ping pong between 56 and 54 with your grind crew. You could probably just do that like forever. Because like with your grind crew in here, you'd be taking absolutely no damage whatsoever. Let's have a look. Still slowly creeping down in it a little bit. Not forever. Probably kill about 30, 40, couldn't you? Yeah, I'm taking about as much damage there as I do on the 56 with my grind crew. So it's about equivalent in terms of the number of hostile you could kill. So yeah, that's a good. Yeah, Moose. You got 5 billion cube. Does that mean you must be G5 epic at a reasonable tier to be able to do that? What ops, mate? Probably, I don't know, 61, 62, something like that. 64, so you're high end of them ops, aren't you? So you're pushing on the door of your G5, G6 rare. That's your next step into it, really. But you're getting towards the relatively high brackets. Did you bother with the uncommon because it's a piece of trash in it, or I guess I'm planning to get a G5 uncommon just for like warp range and helping on events and stuff like that, but predominantly using my G5 epic for PvP. And yeah, I mean the Akira's not. The thing is not good, is it? The Akira one. I mean, I did this the other day. Let me show you this. So this is from STFC database. What I did, I went in and looked at G6 uncommon, rare, and epic, and then I like for the max level. Now you need to understand that each of the different tiers, but I just did what does a max G5 epic give me in terms of hull, shield, and damage per round. So you got T9 Minerva, which is a relatively high G6 uncommon. Minerva, that's the ROM one in it. So, but you can look at the Fed one here, though. Like a max Akira does 2.8 million damage per round. That does less than a max G5 Epic. So the Akira's like, and you thought, oh well, it should have more hull or shield, but it doesn't. Look, it's got less hull and shield combined than the other two. Now it has got a lot more hull and shield than the G5 Epic, so technically it'll probably beat that just because it's got more hull and shield. But you know, my G5, my Sompex killed loads of Akiras that are up to like, I don't know, tier 5 or tier 6. But as they get bigger, because of the hex roll and shield they get almost impossible to kill because the rounds go longer. But I just found it really interesting the different damage per rounds across the different faction ships. And then obviously, like, you've got to take in consideration of that. And I found that the G5 Epics are quite well balanced. They've all got, at max level, they've all got about the same hull shield combination and about the same damage per round. So I find that quite interesting. But the variance on the uncommons is incredible. Now, the explorers do tend to benefit sometimes because of the critical damage against the energy. So, in reality, when you apply research to this, some of the guns on them have a big impact. You can see the Fed is pretty good on the rare. Technically, the Romulan the worst one, but I don't know. I know quite a few people with the Velox. I think does quite well, and then the epics are quite well balanced again, but the NT is whatever it is. The Enterprise at that level seems to be meta in terms of both hull shield and damage per round. Well, it's a bit less than the Klingon apparently, but a lot more hull and shield. So I found that were interesting. In reality, you've got to add in Tantalus field, time crystals, officers, mirror research. It's all that makes a big difference, really. What did you want me to do? I could do 56. You can't do 56s. You can't do 56s, Riggs, okay. Well, maybe that might then drop, as we could see on the 54s, and do the 54 interceptors. You start off with DZOC against burn and battleships. What does DZOC work against? Yeah, similar. It will work against hostiles, won't it? Probably. Let's send this on. In fact, let me kill a battleship on here just to see what happens. Because look, just from doing this testing, look, I've just picked up another 50k of that stuff. See how much damage that does to me. So it's not too bad. How much damage am I doing on about the 54s? See, a lot more, but if you wanted to just come and hit stuff, let's have a look to see what damage the explorers do. I bet it does a lot more damage because we know that ISO damage is much more brutal. It's a lot lower than it. Let's have a look. It's about that much there for on the 54s. Explorers, battleships are similar, and interceptors a lot less. So you can still, even with the loot crew, you're better hitting the interceptors. Right, I'm just going to kill anything in here, Red. Wind myself down to... if I want to die, I need to not hit interceptors, don't I? I could just warp up one, but let me kill battleships, that'll kill me quickly. I'll try DZOC against battleships. So the theory behind DZOC is what? I mean, assimilate reduces the impact of the officer ability, doesn't it? So I don't understand why that's going to stop. Damage increase. What's the theory behind DZOC? Yeah, Moose, you're talking there about your Borg, you're doing more damage. No, your Minerva takes no damage on the 62s compared to the Cube. But yeah, which would make sense. I don't think the Cubes are overly built for these things. No damage on the 62s. Yeah, well, at 64, you what? How big is your Minerva? Sorry, how many millions is it? Billion. Yeah, billions. I'm guessing about 4 billion, 3 billion, something like that. Four. Yeah, 8 billion, 4.8 billion. So it's the same principle for you, though, mate. You probably on the. Can you? Is 62 the highest you can hit, or can you go any higher up the tree? Could you hit 64s, or is that your highest warp range? Because I'm thinking the principle is you want to be like 64. Yeah, exactly. See, your 64 to 62 is my 58 to 56. And are you finding the interceptors considerably easier than the battleships and explorers? So they're the ones to focus on in terms of the amount of hull that you're losing. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Correlating the evidence. So, same principle applying there for G5, G6 uncommons. A good solid one, by the way. 4 billion, that is good. So, like, there might be paper thin in the earlier tiers and get smacked around by G5 rare than epics, but when you get them up near 5 billion, that's pretty solid. That is. So the extra hull, shield, and damage it puts out is gonna. Oh, we've got a thing. Hang on, there's somebody knocking at the door, so I'm gonna have to come back one second. Nothing like a live stream where you've got to go and pick up Christmas presents that are being delivered by Amazon. Okay, so the new events are in. It looks like I completed one of them. To go further beyond SLB, upgrade Chaos Tech. Okay. Yeah. And upgrade the independent archives. That's a new building. So I am completing this already. Look, assimilated El Orion. So I've nearly completed that. So I will head back out with that DZOC in a minute. Q simple challenge. Borg probes. Okay. Q group project. So it's an AMS to get some syndicate. And that's upgrading your buildings. And that's getting the new Chaos Tech. Unlocking the Chaos Tech. Let's have a look at the Battle Pass, because it's just dropped. Yeah, the paid SLBs. These you've got to pay to upgrade the building. This will be paid to unlock the tech. So yeah, well that's get the tech, and that's to upgrade it. To them two are linked, aren't they? If you pay for one of the new Chaos Techs, you upgrade it, and obviously you'll need the building if you want to do the endgame stuff. So what's in the event store? 150 of them. That's alright. When fighting a non-armada hostiles. At the start of each round, increase ISO damage. Yeah. I mean, the Texas stuff is total trash. No one cares about that. But for that for free is pretty good on the premium pass. So that must be unlock that. Must unlock it straight away. That's alright. What are these choice rewards? That must be like the Dabo style stuff. What else do we get? So this is all Dabo loot probably. Yeah. So it looks like the. Oh well, that's interesting. To put instead of putting in, you know, Paw Steel with or dilithium with gas and trip with crystal, they're giving you these things. You've just been denied something there. It's for swearing, but I'll allow you swearing. It's not just a kids only thing, so I'm not bothered. Go back. So let's look at the event store then. Choice rewards. So we get this stuff, and they'll put them here instead. So if I wanted 5-star gas, 26. They put the loot. Yeah, they put the loot in the event store now. So there's 26. I can get. What's the next one? I wonder what the cooldown is on it. I don't really know. Is there more 5? So I could do 2, and I bet it's like 24 hours, aren't they, on them? So they're both the same, aren't they? Oh no, 5-star 260. So I bet that must have a much longer cooldown than the next one. Surely. That's got to have a longer cooldown. I wonder whether that's like weekly and that's daily. That's got to be weekly. That's got to be daily. So you can pick up 260 rare gas there, and obviously if you're 60, it's probably going to be. Yeah, yeah, because I need this gas to. So that is a really nice. That's good. That is really good. Because I'm just going to do it all on these. But maybe like you probably get too much. But let's have a look to see how much you get in the pass. So in the past we get 30. So it's quite a lot. So let's say let's take the first few. 30, 60, 90, 100, 155, call it 210. So 210 from the first 5. How does that equate to this? 210. Yeah, so I could get 5 there. Oh, they're much more bigger, aren't they? But within about 6 days, I'll be able to do 2 of them, which will get me 520 rare gas. And 5 of them, 520. So that's about. So I can do 5 of them. It's about another 100 odd, isn't it? 120 odd. So that's pretty good. That's going to add up, that. Yeah, I'm guessing if you're over 60, these will have sigmas in it. So what it'll mean though, Moose, is that you'll just instead of saying, "Oh, I've got a load of more," I've got a load of Paw Steel and or Trit and Crystal, which I don't need at the moment, but I need gas or I need this type. You'll be able to just stack it. But I bet you get a lot more there. I bet you get a lot more than you could possibly just focus all in on one. So you probably do need to spread it about a bit, don't you, into the other ones? Especially if you win in SLBs. I bet the SLBs are giving this stuff as rewards. Not that one. Maybe not on these. It's not on that one. These SLBs are not great, are they? You're not going to do them anyway. No. Maybe don't. AMS? No. Maybe future SLBs will give you more of that event loop. They normally do, don't they? Yeah. Yeah, it is still rolling out. But normally this loot here that you get, you don't just get it in the event pass. They put them in SLBs and SMSs as well. Oh, we got the event calendar. No. When the event calendar's out, I tend to look at that and see what we need to start saving and strategize in terms of how to win the SLBs. The last one's been very heavy on like damage dealt on armorders and hostiles. It's been quite grindy. We've done okay though, haven't we, Red? Me and you and a few of us are always top 3, top 4 on them ones. You've got advantage at the moment because you got your G5 Epic at 60, so it's harder work for me because I'm having to work the G5 Rare a bit more. But I'm not far off now. If you're lucky, I've got them done. A defensive platform, so 58, 58, 58, but these are 56, look. So you can see it's this gas. So I'm just going to pump everything into gas here to try and get these platforms done. And then now I were going to buy a like what I wanted to do was do this building first because that's going to give me the station module materials cost efficiency. So if you get that to level 30 or whatever it's going to be, yeah, so that's what 50% material efficiency. And I was hoping that the pack for that includes, let's have a look. Does this include G5 rare stuff? Because if it does, I'm definitely going to get it. No. Oh yeah, it does a bit. Okay. So that's okay. So that'll get me maybe 2 upgrades. Plus the efficiency of that, maybe make that up to 3 to 4 upgrades. So you get what, 4,380 of the event store currency. Is that like in total across both the premium and the base battle pass red? I think it is, isn't it? I think that's what he's saying. So if you look at the event store, I doubt you're going to be able to spend all that. You're not going to be able to spend 4,380 just on your preferred one, are you? Because these are going to be time limited. It says no limits. I'm going to be intrigued though that when you click that button, there's no way that's not going to have a cooldown on it. I don't think that will definitely have a cooldown on it. That one's got to be daily, and the other one's got to be weekly. Yeah, we will find out. But let's say it wasn't. So let me do some ratios on this for a start. So here, we're doing, these ratios are equal, aren't they? So we're doing, you're getting 2.6 gas per 1. Don't need a calculator for that. And this, you're getting 2.6. So it's both the same. The ratio of rare stuff that you get per Chanchalice or whatever that is 2.6. So it makes no difference unless this is just a way to spend more quickly. That's the only thing I can think of. The rate, and look, it's 200. You just get 2, so it doubles. And then in here you've got 5, which is 50, so it's 5 times more. So there'd be no point, you know. Well, maybe because if you got to the end, you'd want to fill in bits, wouldn't you, to complete it? But then why wouldn't you just have like 10, 50, 100, 200, and have like, 10 chests and 20 chests? Did I say 2.4? I meant 2.6, yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. 26 divided by 10. 2.6 gas per one of them. And obviously it's got to be the same ratio because that's gone from 10 to 15, you get 5. And then it's the same here. 260 divided by 100, 2.6. I might have said 2.4, I meant 2.6. So it would make no sense. You'd just have that 100 and 200 in this tab. You'd have 10, 50, 100 and 200 if there were no cooldown on it. But the reason why I think they've separated them is because I reckon there's going to be a daily cooldown. That's going to be a weekly cooldown. Yeah, it would be a lot of rare gas, wouldn't it? If you could just go click, 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 get them all, and then just click it all the way through. I mean, if they were nice, they'd let you do that, wouldn't they? But I just don't see it. I think that I said they'll put them on, so then you've got to make a choice to say, well, definitely doing these, and then always make sure you save enough to do your max refined on these two on cooldowns. For me, maybe for others, different things, and then you would say, okay, well, I've got to do some of the others now as well. But it also means that it might not be very good to save your loot till the end because your cooldowns will limit the amount that you can get. Because most people, there's normally like an SLB at the end, and they'll save it all up and trade in a load of like loot at once to like appear near the top of the SLB for the spending event loot. So if they do one of those, it's not going to be to place in the SLB. You're going to have to forego getting more of these if these are on cooldowns. It's quite a nice little trade-off. Don't mind that. These look relatively easy to do. So the other things while we're at it, we'll talk about it is on this building. I think it unlocks. So have a look at what does it tell you what level it unlocks the mastery of the items. I don't think it does it? Let's have a look. I don't even know. Does anyone know where the symbol for the mastery is? Is it in here anywhere? Do you know what I mean? There's like a mastery feature, isn't there? But I can't see where it is. Where is it? Here? It's in the building itself. Oh, so you've probably got to build it. We can't do that yet because we got a claim. Have we got a claim? Yes, we can. Get the launch day gift. So, have all the events been released? Because I don't want to spend anything until the events have been released. I think we're safe, aren't we? Because this event is alive now. I don't think there's going to be another event. Have you built it, Red? Have you built this? What about you, Moose, if you're still on? I wonder. We ain't got the event schedule, have we? You'll spend this and then an SMS will pop up that'll say, upgrade this building. Well, the orc's not out for US yet. Is that where you are, Moose? Okay. Well, you get ahead of the game then, mate, on it. Alright, so I'm going to wait till the event calendar drops in this news. What was the code? Oh yeah, there's a new code in there. I'll tell you, it's in here. The code is somewhere down here. In the patch notes. Oh my god, come on, I bet it's right at the bottom. Oh no, I did. Where's the code? Why is it like the patch notes? Why would they not put the code in the patch notes? News, let's have a look. Oh, scroll past it. Alright, sorry, let me go a bit slower then. Tell me when to stop. Not there, not there. Chaos Tech. There are your Chaos Techs. Hostiles, which is what we've been focusing on. Officers. There. Q Surprise. Type in there. Just so it's there for log for future purposes. Yeah. So you get 2 shards and 400. Alright, that's quite useful then. Redeem code. Well, I bet I'm not logged in. Yeah. Always happens. Oh, we can't log in on the store. It looks like it's down. It does this sometimes. Let me type STFC store again. There we go. You can't see my password. It's fine, don't worry. Right, I'm in. Redeem code. Q Surprise. Redeem. Invalid. Q Surprise. Q Surprise. No. It's not active yet. No. Oh, I'll keep that open. So it probably will come active in a bit. So yeah, just for the purpose of the thing. So this is the new building. I mean, that Sigma resource, I think it's going to be really useful because I'm just about to get into G6. So to have that quite high, up at, I don't know, 85%, 90%, 95, 100%, as I enter into G6, I think it's going to be a long-term investment in terms of helping me get through the 60s quicker. And then you get the added bonus of the Chaos Techs you need to level and tier up. So talking of the Chaos Techs, again, how do I get? Oh yeah, go to the ship, just any ship. Click this. This Q Cannon. It totally nerfs. Against players, each time the opponent scored a critical hit, reduce their base weapon damage. So it's going to reduce weapon damage each time. Well, let's scale this up a bit. Let's get to a reasonable tier. Let's say 45. So you're going to get 120% crit hit damage reduction, and then 133% each time the opponent scores a critical hit, and that's going to be every gun probably. So if you whacking, let's say you got 2 guns or 4 guns, each time you're doing a critical hit on somebody, your base weapon damage is just going to totally get eroded. And because the new matron PvP is to go lots of extra rounds, it's doing the vision that they wanted. it went too far, didn't it? Where Freeman, Lorca, and Worf would allow you to kill people in round 1 on the first few guns if you attack first. But now, I had this debate on Talking Trek. To me, the Explorer strike team's the best because you still get your ISO damage, you get more shots, and you take away critical hits. And this is now going to kind of, even if they do have lots of great research, still then get rid of that critical hit damage and increase your play. So, and remember, these chaos techs are not instead of your forbidden techs; they're as well as. So you can have Tantalus Field here. At the moment, you see, I've got my forbidden tech, my crystal, which I've got at level 47. So right now, for me, this is not the best tech to have in the arena because you can't cloak. But because I can, when I'm not in the arena and I can sting, 3-2 buff, fortify, cloak with FC Locutus, the critical damage I get in the first few rounds is just through the roof. It's like 4,000-5,000% or something. It just goes bonkers in terms of high level, which is why I can, outside of the arena with cloak and FC Locutus, I can kill most G6 uncommons, some paper G6 rares. Now, against anybody else with the same tech and the same stuff, then you can't. But this is why the Tantalus field is becoming so good, because like the Tantalus field, if I go here, which I've not got, but I'm thinking of buying because seems like you've got to have it now. Let me get it up to the same level, 40, 47. You get a nice 5,000 apex barrier. You're getting massive boost to your base damage, and you're getting ISO damage. So all these work in arena. Hull health, increased damage, apex barrier, and isolated damage. So they all work. So instead of just having 2 of the 4. Yeah, exactly, Moose. You've got the new meta, and I do speak to G6s, big G6s about this now, and like all the top spots in our power destroys. So like if I go to my power destroy in hours, I'm here 13th with 8 billion, but look, I'm only 59. And you look at what all these are up and around me, they're all, B-Box 64s, Mavs 69. So they've all got, Volt 70. No, it's 69, I think, Volt 67. Volt's pretty good though at it. Stayers 70. So all them around me are all in 60. So I do quite well for what I am, but from talking to them, absolutely most. The new meta, for my opinion, is Tantalus Field with this crew. If you got your Tantalus Field and you put this crew in with Ransom, could you still get in your ISO damage? Let me click confirm on this. You're getting your ISO damage, you're getting your guaranteed morale, so that means you guaranteed your ISO damage, which is like your Freeman effect. So you get that. You get, I've only got it at plus 76%, but people have these max and much higher. So that goes up dramatically, doesn't it, in terms of the percentages of that. So maybe that's 100 odd, 150% extra shots. And pawn, again, you can get this way up. So you're basically taking away crits. So Freeman, Lorca, and Worf, forget about it because you do crits. You can't get your crits off because that takes it away, which means you're P shooting. And even if you're P shooting on doing this, you're P shooting with loads of extra shots with ISO damage. And then you have your Tantalus field here. Go back to it. Tantalus field, which gives you your barrier, your apex barrier. Let's get it down to whatever you said, tier 11, which is giving you a 5,500 apex barrier, which is making any damage you do even smaller, which means it's going even more rounds, which means you're doing even more shots. And you massive high increase in base damage, so you know you're just getting the total meta now is to take out crits completely, which pretty much mitigates the impact of the ISO damage. Mitigate as much as you can in terms of apex barrier, and then have as high base damage as you possibly can, and then just have shots rolling on top and on top of that. And you just can't, like, I fear a bit for the interceptor. Now, people do say maybe you can. I mean, like, I'll put it on I'll put it on here. Let me put the interceptor crew on. Do I even have it? I don't even think I've got it on a thing. Let me put my interceptor crew on. So the logic is for the interceptor crew. I know we're going off piece here about the arc, but I guess it's kind of common because we're talking about the new Chaos Tech, aren't we? So I'm going to ignore decrease opponent critical hit damage, not that. Yeah, okay. I'm going to ignore Damat because you would have the other strike team member, which gives you the ISO damage. So just imagine that's ISO damage. I guess the principle here is that you would get hull breach and some shots, not as many as the Explorer. So you get your hull breach. You lose all your crit chance early on, but there's a view that Garrett, over enough rounds, can kind of outpower Pon. So if you're Garrett with a greater hit chance, is making your crit chance start coming back again in later round, then you just need to survive to the later rounds to the point that your crit hits come back again, and then you can maybe beat it. So that's the theory and principle of how to counteract that crew. But what's Pon? Let me apply Pon. I know I'll put this on an Explorer, but you know what I mean. So Pon is giving you what? So it's 57% instead of each round for 3 rounds. So obviously at the start, Pon's going to way outpower Garrick for the first of each round for 3. So it's for each round for 3 rounds. And let me go back to Interceptor one. So does Garrick continue on, or is it only for 3 rounds? I don't really know. Let's have a look. No, increase critical hit chance by 30% each round. So Pon will max out in terms of critical hit chance reduction after 3 rounds. But Garak, even though it's a smaller crit hit chance increase each round, that'll keep going on and on and on forever. So, because paint. So the theory, and it probably is right, is that brushes. Right, so if you've got your percentage, so this is going to be percentage crit chance reduction. So Pon is going to start quite high, and then kind of level off like that. So that's going to be a percentage crit reduction. Don't want it that big. So that's going to be percentage crit reduction with Pon. And then I guess the theory is that with Garrick, you kind of starting lower. Starting low, he's starting low, he's starting low, he's starting low. It's going to do something like this. That there is going to be a percentage crit chance. And that's supposed to be, that's crit chance reduction. So the theory is at this point, if this is at the bottom is rounds, and this here is percentage. The theory is when you get to this round, whatever round that is, that round, then your percentage crit chance is higher from Garrick. It's going to be higher than theirs is of Pon. So if you can survive to this round, you'll start doing more crit chances. All your ISO damage will kick back in, and then you'll kill them. But to get to that round, you've got to be able to survive to that round. So I think if it's like 6 to 8 round, you're probably going to lose. If it's like 15 to 20 round, you're probably going to win. Which is why the Tantalus field helps. Because you have... Where is it? Tantalus field. Why have I gone? There. Because you're getting the apex barrier. But you can see like you're getting more again. Yeah, and you're getting the isolated damage, so that scales on top of it, and it helps, you know, your base damage as well. So it's going to help the Explorer Strike team because that 3,500% is going to allow you to kill it before you get to this point. Or if you've got it on the Interceptor, you know, it's going to allow you to kill it sooner after this point. But then if you look at the new Chaos tech, it's just going to mix things up completely. Each time the opponent scored a critical hit, reduce the base weapon damage for 2 rounds. So again, to me, that then makes this harder to win with, because when you do get your crits in, you're not going to be doing as much damage. Reduces the opponent's critical hit damage. So again, even if you get your crits in here, it's going to be harder to win because you're going to be doing still less crit damage against players that increase base weapon damage, which, you know, you could say is good for both, but again, it means that your Explorer Strike team are going to much better chance of killing you with the P shot in that rounds 1 to 8, whatever that point is. But that's the principle of how I think you can overcome that Explorer Strike team, is by making the rounds go long, really long, like over here. Which in essence is what, you know, you're supposed to be able to do with the Mirror Crew because of the Apex barrier. But the trouble is with a Mirror Crew is that even if you make it go really long, you're not really getting much in terms of damage. So you're just extending out your death. So you might last more rounds, but you just eventually still die. So I think the net effect of that Q cannon is another boost for the Explorer Strike team, and making it even more meta. So the new meta is going to be Tantalus field, Q cannon, the Explorer Strike team, and then the only other thing to note on there is that you've really got to take into account mirror research. So all the big whales who are spending money will be over here on these stuff, should be getting their apex barriers as high as possible. So again, you're picking up as much apex barriers as you possibly can over here. Apex barrier versus players, apex barriers. So the more apex barrier stuff that you get in your mirror research, you know, crit damage reduction, crit chance reduction. So the more you've got in this, the more you can make the battles last longer, which again plays into the Explorer Strike team. But That's just my views on it. But what I do like about this is that I guess it adds. I'm thinking about the future. They can add more of these, can't they? They might add one of these in here, which is a bit more suited for interceptors, or they might add one that adds one a bit more for battleships. So I mean, there's a way to then. What you are doing is adding in more combinations of stuff. And then if we take the officers, again, these are explorer officers. So like, not only have you got the explorer strike team, which is, in my opinion, meta for the reasons I've mentioned, you now have the options of mixing in what is in essence an interceptor retaliation squad, which means specific to kill interceptors. So like, if you were an explorer and you wanted to kill an interceptor, then you would put on that crew. Now the only trouble with that is that in arenas or in the heat territory capture or even on incursions, unless like you've got one ship that you can't kill, so you think, right then, it's an interceptor, I'll put that on. You're better just using the explorer. You'd be better using the explorer strike team because it's a more general purpose against all ships. But let's say you're in the arena and you come up against a really strong interceptor, and maybe for the reasons I mentioned, they've got the interceptor strike team and Tantalus field and lots of apex barriers, and they could get their Garrick to overpower your pawn. And you're like, okay, well, no problems. I'll just whack on Starfleet Q with Mariachi Q and French Marshal Q. And then all of a sudden you get in a load of shots. You get in a 10,000 apex barrier, which is definitely taking it deep. That's on from the off up to 16,000. You get in a guaranteed morale. You get in increased ISO damage, at least 50%, up to 120%, which is like the strike team equivalent in terms of billups and etc. And you get increased weapon shots. So no cooldown on event store pull. Ah. Is that true, Bruce? Because then okay, well that's great. But what I don't understand is I legit just did it. So yeah, nice. So that's good. What a very strange choice then to separate out these two things. Because we've already showed it the same ratio. They might as well just put two separate buttons. So they might as well just put the 100 and 200 button here. So is it cooldown on the 50s versus... It's the amount... So it's true. I legit just did it. It's the amount you can pull, 50 versus 200. So there's no cooldowns at all? Alright, well. 11,000 rare refined gas I come. That'll get me to G. That'll get me to 60. Easy peasy. Definitely. By the end of the arc. They're really trying to get people to G6, aren't they? Or at least out of G4 and into G5. People don't believe me, but I think G7's coming. Because we're starting to get, there's maybe 70, 100 Op 70s. So there might be 70, 100 Op 70s around the world. Now, them Op 70s are now starting to get their G6 epics relatively maxed out. They're getting to the point where I bet their spend profile's dropping dramatically. And you might say, well, there's only 100 of them. If them 100 are spending tens of thousands of pounds a month, then you want them to continue spending, and you know for a fact that when they introduce the next generation, then people just go spend, 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 and get as high up as humanly possible, in a really inefficient spend way, because it costs a fortune to move through them early generations. So I'm predicting that G7 will come around about summer, autumn next year. People don't think it. People disagree with me, but I think this arc. I remember when we moved into G6, there was a bit of a catch up to get people from G4 to G5, and they started to give you a lot more resources, and they started to bring out more efficiencies, etc. And this feels like that next step up in terms of that building, the closing down the old loops. They're now letting you pull a load of whatever resources that you need to get over your certain hurdles. It feels like they're doing everything they can to try and encourage you to make that next step into like G6, or at least into high G5s, so you're into that content. So I'm gonna have to make that move. Red, you're gonna have to get off 60 soon as well, mate, and into 61. We're just gonna have to put up with the fact that we're moving up into the higher bracket, aren't we? And hopefully, if they make a G7, all those who were up there can move into a op 65 to op 80 or whatever it is bracket some point next year. Hopefully we'll lose all the mega whales out into another bracket higher up. But we can't hang around at 59.60 forever now. I think it's time to move on. So I think that's everything that this arc has to offer. Let me have a look at the patch notes. We've talked about the officers. So I mean, it's just like a completely monster crew for explorers to kill interceptors, when explorers, in 99% of the cases, are already, I think, mated with Tantalus Field and Explorer Strike Team. And now, if that's not quite working for you because somebody's Galax better than your pawn and they've got better Apex Shield, then just whack this crew on and off you go. That'll sort out that interceptor. So that's that one. We talked about the hostiles. We've figured out the way on the hostile. The best crew is to try and maybe hit one down on the max that you can do, using maybe even you can drop 2 down zones if you wanted to, but using a grind crew, because you get a lot more loot per chest than you do in your cargo. To just get, we've shown that you can get 2 full days worth of max refines from one run, and we've shown that the interceptors are the weakest, so try and target them. So we talked a bit about the Q Cannon because that was a PvP one, and then they've got these other ones. It looks like you get this electromagnetic loot for free. So even though the Texas Hostile stuff is a lot of rubbish, the increased cascade damage for 10 rounds might be worth dropping on and off into your, when you're doing PvP, have the cannon on. When you're not, maybe put the loot in. Maybe when you're doing SLBs on, well, I don't know. I'm not too sure why you'd want to do that one, because inflict hull breach. I mean, if you got max Torres, you don't need that anyway, do you? When fighting non-armada hostile, stall each round apex barrier by 105 rounds. So that's going to give you a 500 apex barrier. Not brilliant, is it? But you do get more loot. So maybe if you're doing loot runs, that might be useful to get more loot. No, it's not great, that though. And what we've not talked about is the fact that you can do these tracks. So the only thing, because I've not seen this live, all I can say is I've watched the DJ's kind of initial talk about it. And basically when you maxed out your ships, you can use some Chaos Tech refinery stuff to kind of make it so you just click a button and you get everything. Now that's actually quite good because, like, what I have heard. So let me go in here because people might not know this because I might not have seen it last night because I stayed up to watch it and I'm a bit tired. If I go into my refinery, let's say you've got a maximum monovine here, which I'm not for of. What it does is that it gives you max refines on every one of these at a click of a button, like every one of them. So imagine doing a max pull on that, on pore steel, max pull on trit, and max pull on dilithium. So if you've got the monovine refit that gets you the sigma resources, yeah, this is important for you, Moose, and maybe for Red and you, then you will get, at a click of a button, the max pulls on everything in that refinery. And he's a kicker, the good kicker, takes no resources. You just click a button, so you don't need to go and grind this stuff. You don't need to go and get neural net chips. You don't need to refine neural nets to get Queen's favour. You don't need to do that. Just click a button and you'll get max refines on all them for free. That's the closure of that loop because you've maxed the ship. And you can also do that for Talios. So every one of these, imagine you click a max pull on every one of them. Every one's a max pull, including this, the expansion cubes. So you get double of that every single day. It's a 22-hour cooldown. So you don't need to go out and hit Borg probes. You don't need to click these refines. You don't need to. Yeah, I mean, technically, you don't need to go and do Borg solo morders because you just get max refined as these. You don't need to do expansion cubes because you'll get them max anyway. And you'll get, well, now at the moment there's a bug, look, you can't claim any of these, which they know about. So the refinery you can do it from is Borg Tech, so you get max pulls on all them. Voyager, you get max pulls on all them, all of them. Yeah, and not that one, the Monovine, max pulls on all them, and you also get the max pulls on your augment here, so max pull on all them. Now it apparently takes about 30 days to get enough stuff, whatever it is. Let's have a look. But I bet you can buy it. Enough. There's probably this Chaos Tech. No, it's not. Maybe you can't buy it. You get like a daily drip of stuff that you need to be able to max them out. Maybe it's that Chaos Tech. Maybe it's that Chaos Matter. Yeah, so it's probably this Chaos Matter. You probably get a daily drip of that. It takes about 30 days to do with each ship to get to the point where you can get to that mastery level. So it's going to take about a month for each of the loops. I'll probably go Talios. I mean, what I'd like to do is Monovine, but I've got a whole tier yet to put on my Monovine because I got it quite late. So I'll just, as soon as I get the Monovine maxed, which they are making it, so if you're like tier 11, you get loads of efficiencies, so it'll be like much cheaper to max it, and you'll get a lot more loot for killing stuff. So I'm hoping I could do that first. So my priority one, if I had the order, would be to get Monovine done first, then probably the Talios, then the Voyager, then the, I don't know, there's two more. Can't remember what they are. Okay, so Moose, get it to 30, 35. So that's good. So thanks for that, mate. So good, someone's bought the pack, so we know that we can get this to 35 from a pack. So I'm buying that because that'll get me 75% module material efficiency, which is definitely going to, along with the new loot store, the new event store is going to get me on the line to 60. And then it's going to set me up nicely for Sigma resources, 150% efficiency then into G6. Alongside, we talked about the Q Cannon, so we're going to be able to get 75% efficiency on leveling that up, as well as getting, more per day to increase the building. Is that what you're saying, Moose? You're saying 30? Yes, yeah. So yeah, first of all, Red, thanks for that. It's really good knowledge to have for people who do. Maybe look at this when I put it on YouTube. They don't get thousands of views. Maybe they get like 50s. But I will be putting it up on YouTube afterwards. So anyone who's interested, get some early insight into the arc. And Red, yes, I'm almost certain that as soon as an SLB starts, that's the SLB that you're in. You can't swap. But what I would say is, if a new SLB if you went to 61 now, you would stay in our bracket for this SLB, which will be up to 60. But if another SLB starts, you'll be in with 70s and stuff like that. The full mastery from Monavine. So what's that, Moose, in terms of full mastery? Is it 40 or 30? I thought DJ said it was 35, so maybe it weren't quite 35. Is it? What's the Monavine mastery level? So so I didn't know that. So the getting that mastery, which sounds amazing, click of a button, no resources, max refined and everything. It will be gated by what level this building is. Level 30. Okay, all right. So you did get max. If you said you got to 35, took my library to level 35. So that means you got the Monavine mastery, right? So if you got this to 35 and it's 30 for the Monavine, then you got mastery. Oh, okay. For the third last, okay, I'm with you. So yeah, because obviously you've got over the gate of the building, but then you've got to put the new currency into the mastery to get it to 100%. But could you still do the pull of the Monavine yourself? No, Red. So once you've mastered it, I mean, like if you've not mastered it, you've got to just do you've just got to go in every day, go down to your refinery, go to your Monavine, do your max of that, That'll get you enough to do 2 or 3 of them, and then not the others. So you can still do that if you've not mastered it or you've not got a max Monavine. But as soon as you have, you don't need these resources at all. Just ignore the resources. You just click a button and it gives you max of everything, and that's it. So what it does mean, I would say that Red, you probably, as going into 61, you want to buy, and I hate saying this, but you want to buy the outfit for the Monavine. Yeah, once you've mastered it, you can do that. But once you've mastered it, you can't come in. This refinery disappears, so that tab will disappear completely once you've mastered it. And in the building, there'll be a claim all button, and it'll just pull down everything you've done from mastery. So yeah, so you won't. It disappears, but you'll get everything max that you possibly could get. And like I said, you definitely want the Monavine outfit because that means that in here you'll get Sigma resources of these max. So you'll get 3 chests, Sigma. Wait, what, mate? What's up? It's a good thing. Oh, you mean your Monavine's not maxed? Because if it is, then you just need to do what Moose said, is get yourself up to that building 30, then spend the relevant currency to put into that mastery, and then this goes away completely. You just click a button. But apparently, you see there, like, if you look at my model, I'm tier 10, which is annoying. If I'd have known this would come in, I should have bought all the event stall loot last time on doing it. Where's my Bonavine? I've already got it out. Yeah. But I'm like nearly done that one. So I'm like about to go to tier 11. So I've got a whole tier to do. You're right, Red. Anything else? Does that make sense in terms of... That seems a little bit squished. So yeah, make sure you get the outfit on that, mate, because that's going to significantly increase your income of Sigma resources to be able to get through the G6 ops. Because I've heard that the Modavine's the predominant daily income source for G6 ops. So yeah, you got to get that, mate. I'll be definitely getting that when I get to 61. So we went through that. We went through, what else was there? I think that's it. We talked about the buildings. They've got this. That's a nice little feature. So if you go to daily goals here, one reason why you won't want to click claim all there is because if you like, I've got mega high Klingon factions, and if I'm working towards getting Fed and ROM locked to 15 billion, but if I accidentally clicked one of these, then I get minus 14 million, minus 30 million. So, and same all the way along. So while you're climbing up the other ones, you don't want to be clicking the ones you've already got. So now you can click this on or off to say whether you auto claim the faction stuff. So don't miss that. It's a nice little feature. Keep it clicked off. Oh, hang up. Oh no, I thought events were in. I thought events were in. Let me do a sync. Sometimes you need to. You should clear localization after every patch anyway. I don't know if people know that, but you can have all sorts. Like I would do one clear localization after each client update. I'm waiting for the event calendar to come out. Still not out. What time is it? 5:08. Still not out. I thought the event calendar would be out by now. So I think that's it. That is the new org. I think it's quite good actually. I was getting really peed off with Arena yesterday because of the matchmaking it was giving me. Just impossible because I'm a high rating. Just give me impossible matches. I was at like 4,500 silver 1, pushing for gold 1, and then every single match I had were against ops 65 to 68. And I don't care how good I am at arenas, how good my team is. If I've got a team of ops 59, 55 and 56, which we were in, we're not beating ops 65, 66, 68. Because all they did was bring one big ship in each, totally, can't hurt them, can't kill them, did a solo armada, did the group armada, game over. And then they just bring in one fast ship, so one power ship, one fast ship, and their fast ship's faster than my fast ship. I'm stronger than it, so it kills it. So I got frustrated with arenas yesterday. So I'm taking a bit of time off from it to see if the ranking system will level itself out, because there's loads of mid-60s who are just not engaging or engaging sporadically. So they're coming in at bronze 3, bronze 2, at a level 65, 66, 67, 68, and getting drawn against me because I've engaged in it and got myself up to silver 1. So people say, well, the matchmaking is working perfectly because you're a silver and you're a bronze, so you're a better player than them. Well, no, it's because they've not engaged and I have engaged. So you might say, well, in time it'll figure itself out. Well, it will do if everybody plays it a lot. So if everybody plays it a lot, everyone's ranking will go to the place where it's supposed to be, and then the games will become more even. Totally get that. But in the meantime, what happens if people get so annoyed and bored of it that they stop doing it? Then the ranking will never settle and level out because people will just give up on the feature because it's 10 minutes wasted of your life waiting to just lose. So I get frustrated by it because I love arenas and I want them to be really successful. But I think they've either got to put some brackets into the arenas, so, 61 to 70, 50 to 59, 50 to 60. But then I get the point, if they do that, you're probably not going to be able to make enough matches because there's not enough people playing in it. Well, there'll be two things that will stop that. One, the games will be more even, so more people will want to play it, so it'll encourage more people to play it. And two, what they really needed to do, and it's bad design or bad tech, is allow you to create groups with anybody on your server, because then the number of permutations of teams you can make just explodes. And you might say, well, people won't do that. Well, they will, because people share Discord and they talk to each other with the friendly alliances for territory control and stuff like that. So we've all got friends and allies and Discord groups that we can talk into, and we could say, "Oh, it's Arena Monday coming up. I'm this ops. Does anybody want to come and have a day doing arenas with me?" You'd arrange it. Yeah, so what did you say, Red? You won one against level 70 because that guy was late to the party. Yeah, pretty much. I suppose if they don't turn up and do anything. But I mean, that level 70 should just be able to come in with 2 ships and sit on solos and groups, and there's nothing you can do. So maybe if you got really, 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 really bad G6 rare and epic players, you could beat them. Then the ranking thing's fair, but otherwise, 99% of the time, it's not. So to me, they've either got to do that bracketing, expand, and they might say, well, we ain't got the tech to be able to allow people from Cross Alliance to do it. Well, so that's not me as a user's problem. That's your game design. That's your architecture that you're using. The root cause of the problem is people can't put enough teams together, so you're creating crap matchups because there's not enough teams to be able to make them matchups. And when you are making them matchups, it's too much rated on rank as opposed to cognizance of the fact that ops is super important in this game. So number one, you've got to allow more teams to be made. Number two, you've got to then make more fairer matches. Now, I can probably do max refines for 4 weeks because of how much I've played arenas. So I could just sit back for a little bit and see if it works itself out. But I'll probably try again next week and see what happens. But, when I'm getting ops 65, 66, 67, 68 against 59, 55, 53s, it stops people from wanting to play the feature. So hopefully that'll work itself out at some point in the future. Oh, have we got the news in? Oh, it's in. I was about to log off. Oh no, it's retrieving. It's retrieving. Let me try clearing localization. I was just about to log off, and then here we go. We've got a let's have a look. See if that works now. No, still retrieving. Do that. Let's try and load it back in again. Helping hand to your alliance. What do you mean, red? Helping hand to the alliance. HL. Let's have a look. So that's still retrieving. Why is it still retrieving? It's just taking ages, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, cheers, Moose, mate. Yeah, I don't do shout outs, so get me, please follow and stuff like that. But you know, do let people in your alliance and others out there know about it. Hopefully, found it quite useful. You know, I'm not in it to make loads of money or any money really. I'm just trying to impart some of what I do into the community. So, you know, if we can get a few people to follow me, then you know, if I get to affiliate, I can check out the new features and do cooler stuff and things like that. So it just takes a bit of time, doesn't it? Just I'm in no big rush, but I really do appreciate that, mate. Thanks for tuning in and having a look, and appreciate some of your help talking through some of this. Yeah, top man. Okay, well, I think if I can't get this thing to come up, I'm gonna log off myself because I'm gonna stop the stream myself. But we've covered a lot today, so yeah, cheers, Moose. That'd be brilliant, mate. If you could do, yeah. If you got some people who could come in and follow that'd be great. Try and test things quickly when they come out. You know, always like having a look at ways to win the SLBs and ALBs and looking at meta ways to do PvP, etc. So we cover quite a lot, and I try and simplify it all into like infographics to talk over as well. So yeah, cheers for that. Right, this is not coming on, so I might drop on tomorrow sometime and do one that talks around the schedule and about what we need to save and how we could potentially win them and do a bit of theory crafting on how to win them. Apart from that, we'll close up this stream and thanks all for tuning in. I said I'll get this up on YouTube and do please follow if you've not already. Cheers. Is it here?